Okay guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about the potential hits that will come in the next ban list. Obviously we will receive a ban list quite soon. It's normally from the 20th of the recent month until the end of the month that the ban list will drop. Could be any time now. Sometimes it drops earlier, sometimes it drops a bit later, but we will definitely know it before the month ends. As you might not be aware, we get a new ban list every month, which is normally a bit smaller than other ban lists in the OCG and TCG, but we get them every month, which I think is quite nice. You can let me know in the comments what you think of this tactic of Konami, because you can obviously address problems way faster if you release a ban list every month. If you like my videos, by the way, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. This would help me out a lot. Thank you. So let's first look at what decks are potentially problematic, and we will look at two different sides: Untapped GG and Master Duel Meta. Of course, we have tier 1 here, Snake Eyes, Fire King, Yubel. You can see tier 2 branded Telements, Snake Eyes. In tier 3, Rescue Ace, and then a Labyrinth. And then we have some trending decks right here, but these are not too elemental. So in my opinion, and you can see right here, power level is basically the same between Yubel and Snake Eyes Fire King, which means that in the tournaments recorded on this website, they are basically on the same power level, because they have occupied basically the same amount of top positions in all the tournaments combined. Even though I think that this is a bit misrepresenting, because and you can let me know in the comments if you think this is not the case, but in my opinion, Snake Eye Fire King is way stronger than is Yubel, going first and going second. In my opinion, going second especially because killing your opponent with the Yubel deck is pretty hard. Killing your opponent with the Snake Eyes Fire King deck is very easy. This is the main thing which makes the deck way better, in my opinion. I also think it's a bit more consistent. The combos are a bit better. I guess if you can get the entire Yubel combo through with the Nightmare Throne, it's also very, very strong. It might even be a bit stronger than the Fire King Snake Eyes board, but the follow-up is better. You have follow-up in your graveyard from the Flame Bird Dragon, from the original Sinful Spoils, which is something this deck doesn't really have. You can't really like generate consistent follow-up with this. Your going second strategy is way worse, and I think you can be disrupted a bit more easily, which basically means that you have not that great of abilities to continue your plays as Snake Eyes Fire King has. For example, if you normal summon your Samsara Lotus or your Beckoning Beast and it gets interrupted there, then without another summon, you are very reliant on your normal summon, is what I am saying here, which is not the case in Snake Eyes Fire King. There are more extenders. You can extend through more hand traps, in my opinion, ending on a better board. But yeah, this is my opinion, and we can see right here, Snake Eyes Fire King, Yubel, these are the stronger deck. Keep in mind though that normally when there is a pack that is still in the shop, like with the Yubel pack, Yubel is obviously brand new. It's very unlikely that we see any hits. I think that we won't see any Yubel hits. We might see Yubel hits in the future, especially once the fire decks may have received more hits. Then we will receive some Yubel hits, but later on I can't really imagine them hitting this deck. Now this deck will become stronger once we get the Varudras. If you're not aware what this is the new Baron de Fleur basically that you can make in the Yubel deck, because this needs 2 level 10 monsters. And then obviously this deck will become stronger when Fiendsmith comes out. Fiendsmith is the next big thing to come here. We have just seen this in the North American WCQ, how strong Fiendsmith is. Fiendsmith Snake Eyes being the strongest deck right there, and then Fiendsmith Yubel. But I think if we get a Fiendsmith here, Fiendsmith Yubel could be the strongest deck, because our Snake Eye is very, very punished at this point because of a lot of restrictions to the Snake Eye engine, whereas in the TCG it is not. So I don't think that we will see any Yubel hits with this next ban list. I think we will see fire hits, and I honestly think that we won't really see any other hits concerning all these other decks. Don't really see a branded hit, and then obviously do not see a hit for these decks here. The most likely candidate who might receive it would be Rescue Ace, in my opinion, but I honestly don't think so. But if I would need to call one other deck besides the fire deck Snake Eye Fire King, then I would call Rescue Ace, but I don't really think so. We can also take a look at Untapped GG to understand where the meta is at, though I think this is not really representative. Also, there seems to be a lack of data here, as we are only seeing 6 decks here, which is normally not the case here on Untapped. You see a lot more, but you can see Yubel is right here, Telements, and then there's Snake Eyes in the B category. Don't even know if this is Snake Eyes Fire King or just Snake Eyes. Seems to be the Snake Eyes Fire King variant. Yeah, so you can see that Yubel is very, very popular, especially in the higher ranks here, Snake Eyes as well. And I think it's because of this higher rate here. So 19.3% of the people using this app, Untapped GG, are basically using Yubel. I think this is because, or this is the reason why we have better data on this deck, which in turn makes it one of the better understood decks for this website and putting it on the top spot here. I think the Fire King Snake Eyes deck is way stronger, as I just have talked about. So let's talk about Snake Eyes Fire King. As I already already said, I am not really expecting any hits for Yubel, but you can let me know in the comments if you see this differently. So you have, for example, a list here. This is only an example list. You can obviously go play this any way that you want. By the way, I just won a 128 player tournament with Snake Eyes Fire King. No surprise there. I will post a video about this in the upcoming days, going over some of the replays because I think they were very interesting. So let's talk about a few cards that I can see some hits at. I mean, we know that we have, for example, the Snake Eye Ash at 1. We have hits to the Bonfire at 2. We have hits to the Wanted being at 1. And those are the big hits that we have gotten until this point. I could see Diabelza the Black Witch going from maybe 3 to 2 or maybe to 1. Same thing with the Wanted here. It seems to be the case that Konami and the OCG especially tends to go, Master Duel and the OCG especially tend to go a different route when it comes to hitting the stuff on the ban list. TCG basically steals some stuff from this. For example, they forbid the Linkuribo and the Baron de Fleur and the Borrowed Savage Dragon, whereas the OCG and Master Duel tend to hit a consistency, where you can see with the Wanted here or the Snake Eye Ash being at 1. So I can definitely see their Bellstar going to 2 or 1. I'm not really think that it will go to 1, honestly, because with these monthly ban lists, they kind of tend to do it in a bit slower fashion. So we might see this going to 2, and then if it's still a problem, going to 1 later on. This is obviously also an ultra rare, which is nice for us, but bad for the company, I guess. So I can see definitely a Diabelsta hit. And this, together with the next card I'm discussing, is in my opinion the most likely. Could also see a Snake Eyes Poplar hit. I think if we were to hit a Snake Eyes Poplar, we would definitely hit it to 1, because hitting it to 2 doesn't really make a difference. We are playing it at 2 already. This could be the case. This is the least likely, or I think Diabelsta is more likely than is Snake Eyes Poplar, because we would need to hit it to 1, which means 2 ultra rare print points. Basically, you get 2 ultra rares back if you have 3 Poplar. For example, a lot of people are playing 3 Poplar as a replacement for the missing Snake Eye Ashes. Basically, this is only playing 2, but you can play 3 as I just mentioned here. And definitely hitting the Snake Eyes Poplar to 1 would make the deck worse, as sometimes you open the Snake Eyes Poplar in your hand, and let's say you also have an Ash, then Ash is definitely worse because you can't go Ash at the Poplar because you have Poplar already in hand. This is really bad, and you don't really want this to happen. This is also because it's also the reason why we never see anyone playing Snake Eyes Poplar at 1, because it's just bad. So I could also see Snake Eyes Poplar going to 1, but as I already said, I think Diabelza to 2 is the most likely one. We could see, and this it becomes less likely now, though I think this would be a good option, honestly. This would be, or might have been the best option from the beginning, in my opinion, or one of the best options, which is a hard option, but not like a engine killing option, is going Snake Eye Oak Forbidden here. This is also only a normal card, or whatever this stands for. Let me know in the comments if you know. So you people would not get back a lot of resources here from banning this, and would definitely make the Snake Eyes engine weaker, but would not kill the engine. Not, for example, as banning original Sympho Spoils, in my opinion, would. Or banning original Sympho Spoils would definitely be a problem, because this would kill the entire Diabelsta into Snake Eyes engine, obviously, because you bridge from your Diabelsta into your Snake Eyes engine via the original Sympho Spoils Snake Eye. So I think it's very unlikely that this will get forbidden. This is a core piece, a bit too much of a core piece. I think if they wanted to destroy the deck in, they could definitely forbid this, but I'm not really seeing it. I think the Snake Eye Oak is more likely. The next thing that I could also see, this is more of a Fire King hit here, and the only Fire King hit, in my opinion, that makes sense, but is not really that impactful, is Fire King High Avatar Kirin 2-2. We have this in the OCG also, but it doesn't really make a difference. A lot of people in the TCG, for example, where it is at 3, are only playing it at 2, or have only played it at 2 now that Snake Eyes Fiendsmith and Yubel Fiendsmith is there. Nobody is really playing Fire King anymore, honestly. But yeah, I can also see going Kirin 2-2, which I would like in terms of getting ultra rare points back, but which I think is very, 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 and I can't stress it enough, very underwhelming in terms of making this deck weaker. I think this does not really make a difference. Also, Lord of Dimensions, the pack is still in the shop, so yeah, do with this information what you want. We have OSS Original Sympho Spoiled maybe being banned. I talked about this already. I don't really think so. And then we have Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon, which is also something that could honestly go to 1, and it would make a bit of a difference in the pure Snake Eye list, but not in the Fire King Snake Eye list. So once again, not really likely. And this thing Forbidden, I don't know. This is also a very crass move, same as with the original Sympho Spoils. I don't really see Konami going in the direction of forbidding an entire piece of the whole engine. I think it's way, way more likely that we see hits to, for example, the Diabelsta or the Snake Eyes Poplar going to 1 or 2 respectively. Not really seeing Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon, but the this is obviously something that could happen, and it would also be okay because the main pack basically where you can get this thing is out of the shop, though you can get it in Victory in Progress. So I'm not quite sure how we should think about this. Another option, and this is something I just thought about, might be hitting the Temple, which also I think would be a nice hit, but would definitely also make Fiendsmith Snake Eyes in the future weaker. Could be a good option in my opinion, but we also have this in the pack that is still in the shop, so I don't really know. This is also not really a very important card in Snake Eyes Fire King. You can play the Temple, as we can see right here. Some people I think are playing the Temple. We can see they are playing the Temple. They are not playing the Temple. I myself also did not play the Temple. Seems to be the case that most people are playing the Temple though. Yeah, basically most of them. But as you can see, you can also play this deck without the Temple, as some lists do, for example this one, and I also did. I'm not really a big fan of the Temple in the Fire King version, but you can obviously do what you want concerning this issue. The Temple will become better. This is something to mention. Temple will become better once we get the Snake Eyes Yubel Star, which is a cool card. That basically gives you a better access to your Selene line, and yeah, this can be set by Temple, which is very strong. And if this is in the Spell and Trap Zone, you can special summon it and then put something else in the Spell and Trap Zone instead, a fire monster off your grave, which is really, really cool. This will make especially the pure Snake Eye version better, and then Temple is once again better. Not really seeing Temple being hit, honestly. Another potential way that we could go for is World Sea Dragon the Atlantis, which would make the going second combo, or would kill the going second combo basically, which is, in my opinion, one of the best hits you could do, because hitting the Abelstar to 2 doesn't really change anything, but hitting World Sea the Atlantis to Forbidden would definitely hit this deck. We can see it's still here available, Raging God of the Sea. Is this a secret pack, or what is this? It's a secret pack, okay, so that doesn't really count, because cards could be obtainable in secret packs and still be yeah, hit from the game basically. But yeah, World Sea Dragon the Atlantis is another option that could potentially be Forbidden. I don't really think so, as I already argued. I think this is more likely though, but the hit of World Sea Dragon the Atlantis would be very effective, would make the deck way weaker, because the going second option is not that great then anymore, or it's basically not available anymore, you could say. So you would need to grind the game out more. You would have to manage your resources better. Just like putting back with your original Symphod Spoils your Snake Eye Ash and then summoning it and getting your Poplar would then not be enough to just kill your opponent with these bodies alone. So yeah, I'm not thinking this is likely, but I think it would be a great hit. But you can let me know in the comments what you think. These are the hits that I think will, or some of this will be hit on the next ban list, in my opinion. You have to touch some of this, and then honestly, I'm not really expecting any hits to any of these other decks here. It's way too early for Yubel, and I'm not really seeing any hits for these other decks here in the down echelon. Basically, obviously, if you hit Snake Eye stuff, then Snake Eye is already, or is also being hit, but this is more to hit Snake Eye Fire King, obviously. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you think the hits will be. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.